Welcome to this special edition of my playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with BlackICE and Third Reich Events installed mods. I say special edition because this is going to be the episode where I'm going to reorganize the armed forces of Germany here. Not going to really run the clock much if at all. It's going to be a lot of tedious micro work. I don't know how much people would be interested in it. I will try to give a little commentary as I go along about things to try to keep it somewhat interesting, but you might either want to skip this episode or skip through it. I will do a brief review at starting of the next episode of what happened so that you can have a general idea. I can imagine this being quite boring, so I'm just going to get into it and keep moving along here, but it's something very skippable if you so desire. New generals have been coming online, partially because of it's now 1938, partially because of unification with Austria. All of that will affect what generals are available. It's part of the reason I didn't do this earlier. There's also reason to wait until 1939 because even more generals we would be very much planning on using would be coming about then. But I just sort of get sick of not doing it. Doesn't look like any of the OPRO generals are yet available. I thought a few could come online in 38, but maybe it's later. Oh, there's one. The order police, German order police. A lot of these generals here, like him, were also a member of the SS, so they do have the SS tag here. But it's hard to tell, but if you looked at larger quality picture, you will see that he's in his police uniform. The general rank and file of the order police weren't members of the SS. Particular leaders, I'm sure that there were individuals that were also members of the SS, but they weren't part of the SS in that sense, though they were under Reinhard Heinrich Himmler. Man, I was having a brain freeze there for a moment. Okay, got these guys here. We're going to be sending them down here. Still no fortifications as of yet, but we have started the building process. I don't really have any need for internal garrisons based on these units here now, and so I'm not going to keep them here. But I do have need for garrison forces, particularly garrison forces on the west wall. Once they're in place, I will reorganize them up locally under core and other level command structures. But for the moment, I'm just sending them over there. Okay. So we need to promote brow hitch up. We're still going to go through other units and reorganize the generals more. Make sure every general or every division has a general of a reasonable appropriateness. Go. We're not leaving him in charge of a single division. The reason some of these don't have generals is because of events have pulled them away. They load OOBs and they're putting historical commanders in charge of them. This Flieger Corps is going to be our Flieger Corps for our naval, air, and flying boat units. So let's see, who do we have? Available. I'm gonna send them right up here. Flieger Corps C. And Choose him. Fleeger Corps B for bomber. We're going to send him down to here. Because Third Reich Events has a chance, a small chance, very small, but a chance that war may break out as part of trying to get Czechoslovakia. We do need to prepare, unless you just really want to be caught off guard, for that by making sure that you get your forces in order before you start pressing stuff on the Czechs. He's also going to get a promotion there. Handler's going to get a very big promotion. Sorry if I'm butchering some of these names. Mostly just read them as opposed to hear them. You can see if, in my opinion, god-awful play that the YouTube people were doing on that damn trial stuff is armies aren't all grouped into one thing and then put on one border and then hope nobody attacks anywhere else and then just thrown at the enemy when you're ready to go to war. They're spread out, they're diverse, there's defense in depth. If you have German graphical augmentations installed along with TRE, along with BlackICE, you have the opportunity to have this done with all these various internal units. Yeah, people are power gamers. I totally understand that because it's a game. You want to win the game, and so you make all the best decisions to win the game, and I get that. I like sort of historical play. Not that it's got to follow just what history happened. No, that's not the point. The point is to work within, the way I want to play, work within historical parameters, if you will. Detach him. Okay, here is a remnant. I hope they get this cleaned up in future versions of BlackICE. This should have been removed with the later event OOB's upgrade, so that we're done for this. Let's send him and his core over here. And the way Revolver Held has done some of these things, you have the core HQ plus a police battalion, so they're still fighting units. They're not, war-winning units by any means. But if you get in trouble on a front in a theater, they certainly can be used to delay an advancing force. Before they get too deep into your rear, disrupt your production, supply, various other elements. First, let's go back up to the High Command and do some organizing there. Now that I've freed up a few of the both historical and better generals for doing this. Okay. We're going to give overall command to brow hitch. No, actually I'm gonna to me Keitel's useless, and I think he sort of was somewhat useless in the war itself, so one box gonna get that. I'm going to leave this as just sort of a placeholder unit for these positions here. Right, because I'm not going to dig down for Keitel wherever he's buried down in the bottom of that. Just not seeing him here. He's probably right here in front of my eyes, but I'm missing him. All those fails sort by name. There we go. Why was it missing? Don't know. Okay, so we're going to organize up the rest into Runstead instead. And so we have von Bock there, and we're going to put Halder on in charge of the Western Front. And Yodel is temporarily in charge of our, currently I should say, in charge of our internal reserve. Here's that army. Now, since we've just probably give everybody a headache. All the U-boats I'm going to place under the Fjord U-boats. Their U-boats. Is that all of them? Is that? These guys over here are already there. Okay. Wow. There we go. There we go. So that's all under donuts. Command. Readers overall command. We're going to place him under the Nord C command. There. He's gonna continue there. Okay, now we're gonna do some of the air commands. I like these new counters because I can quickly scan down them, try to find that. Vaver did survive in this playthrough, so we will put him in a better place than these light bombers. Again, I understand why they made them for BlackICE, these fictitious leaders, because they just didn't have enough generals in the original game, but now that they have increased generals here, I really don't like them, but I left them in mainly because this playthrough we're playing with BlackICE so that you see what's going on there. Just a little commentary. Let's find a good fighter leader here. Flieger Corps F. It's already past Flieger Corps B up here somewhere. Vader is going to be in charge of that because for medium bombers he'll do better. You get the idea, so that now when we go to Flieger Corps B, we will have all the bomber squadrons and groups readily current status. We'll know what needs to be done, what's available, if we need when and where we need to attack, if we're starting to be pounded by somebody. We will be able to react much better to it for things like fighters. Get them in. As maybe you can tell so far, I'm a micro manager for combat. I don't turn fronts over to anything. What I do though is like to try to not too much micromanage the Air Force once you get it up and going and get things assigned. I just want interceptors to intercept, that kind of thing. Okay, we have a Panzer division here, so we want to have a Panzer leader. Charge of it. Now, this is a semi-motorized unit, but what we're going to do is motorize it fully and properly. And because we don't want it to take forever, we're going to push it right to the top. These Austrian troops here, they have motorized infantry and a cavalry brigade. Fun, but we're not going to leave that either. Might as well go all the way to proper armor instead of just up to light armor. Again, we're going to have another armored division here, so find a decent leader. These upgrades aren't cheap, but they're cheaper than building the unit fresh, so we're going to do that to have a good force. And as you notice, we're already down to 4.92 for building factory. So we're going to, once these hit through, we're going to continue our factory building, but no longer as the single-minded focus that it was once earlier. I hope this has given you a general idea of how I like to organize my own forces here. And we will continue to do more of it later on. So you can see here, this got all the mountain units in one corps, whether they're going to be used to go down into Yugoslavia or up into Norway. All have their basic uses. So hope this wasn't too boring, too upsetting with wandering around the maps jerkily, that kind of thing. Hope it was of some interest to a few of you. That'll be all for this session. We will pick things up in a normal session very soon.